Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly astrology and pick a card reading. This is for the week of November 29th through to the 5th of December 2021. So the big energy this week in the astrology is a new moon, total solar eclipse in Sagittarius at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you know your chart and you have anything especially rising sun moon at 12 degrees, this is a significant time for you. What does a solar eclipse mean? Well, the solar eclipse is a very powerful energy. It's not as emotional as a lunar eclipse, but it definitely has an impact and it can bring about destined change. And it can be sort of an energy that initiates some kind of change. Now, it's not the time to force anything in your life. It's not the time to sort of really push for things. It is a time, however, to listen to your instinct and take action if you feel guided to, but not in a forceful way, just in a flowing way. So kind of when, you know, you feel that energy of your life shifting or changing and things are going in a new direction, yes, of course, you may take action around it. Sagittarius is an action-orientated sign, but as I said, it's not a time to push things or force things. Solar eclipses tend to be energies of closing old karmic chapters and opening new ones, and it's definitely a strong karmic energy. So it's a time when the shadow of the earth covers the sun, and so visually as well it can be powerful depending on, you know, where you are in the world. And so 12 degrees of Sagittarius is close to sun. Well, it's not super close to, but it is in range, I would say, even though it's kind of a wide degree of the south node in Sagittarius. It's in the same sign as the south node. It's a bit too far away for it to be a conjunction, but it's in the same side south node is in at the moment. And so there is an element here of letting go. There is an element of karmic endings, but there's, as I said, with endings, you know, there's new beginning energy as well, and that is very much the signature of solar eclipses. With eclipses, there is the energy that you'll feel either side of this date. So technically it's happening this week on the December 4th. It's on December 4th, guys. So yeah, it's in a few days. So in about 5 days from now. The side of that date is when the energy can still be influencing up to 3 months on either side. So leading up to and after. So that's that, and this is the last solar eclipse of 2021. And the other stuff that we've got this week is that the Sun and Mercury are what's called combust, but also conjunct. When Sun and Mercury are close together, I mentioned it last week, it's where we can feel very much wanting to express thoughts, feelings, ideas. And Sagittarius, this is all in Sagittarius, Sun and Mercury in Sag, is all about freedom, truth, wisdom. As I said, self-expression, big ideas, independence, actions, but actions taken that are in sync with your intuition, okay? And it can be very restless energy. So it can be a good time to do physical activity like exercise or other things to channel off excess energy. Very fiery energies, obviously, Sagittarius being a fire sign, and with Sun and Mercury conjunct and combust in that same sign. This can indicate things to do with the element of fire being prominent in some way. It is also a time with the new moon solar eclipse where you can work on manifestation and putting down ideas to work towards in the future, or, you know, having ideas that you feel very positive about or compelled towards making positive change and that bring about growth in your life, especially with the sign of Sag related to this eclipse. If you feel like something's really stagnant and old, and that you've sort of outgrown, you'll be more likely to start to move away from it at this time. And the other stuff this week is Mars, again, trine Neptune this week in a water sign. So Mars in Scorpio, trine Neptune in Pisces. This is, again, a very flowing energy, an energy of trusting your intuition, going with the flow, not forcing things, but taking action according to your intuition. And Mars in Scorpio is very deep intuition. It's also an energy of self-preservation and protective instinct, self-protection. And trine with Neptune, very linked with your intuition this week. So your intuition will be speaking to you this week if if you really, you know, want to tap into your own guidance and practice doing that, this week is very strong for that. All right, so I'm going to get to the pick a card section now. So I'm going to go with the fire signs first, since it's Sagittarius season and we have the solar eclipse in a fire sign. Then I'll do earth and water and then air. All right, so this week, these are the cards that I've got. So I'm using the Angel Therapy deck, which is this one. I'm also using the Sacred Traveler Oracle, which is the purple Oracle deck. And the tarot deck I'm using is the Unicorn Tarot, which I don't use very often, but I was drawn to that this week. All that purple energy is very Sagittarius colors. All right, so let's get into it. Let's have a look at the messages for, first of all, the fire signs. So Aries, Leo, Sag. What are your messages this week? Aries, Leo, Sag. This one jumped out. Okay, you have the Hermit in the tarot deck. Let's see what goes with the Hermit. Too many jumped over there. This one. Whoop. Oh wow, this is interesting. We have the Hermit and faraway places. Get ready for new horizons. I like that. Very appropriate for Sagittarius energy. So I don't know if you live in a part of the world where you're able to travel, because travel is still very restricted where I'm in Australia, and I'm pretty sure it is in most Western countries, but I know some people are traveling. There's something about travel, if it's not physical travel, it could be spiritual seeking, you know, that's very much a Sagittarius energy. Indigo, it says, the person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive natural born leader. So this is either talking about you yourself or someone that you're thinking of at this time. And let's get the astro dice for the fire signs. Sun, Pisces, 10th house. Interesting. So the Sun with Pisces in the 10th house is all about your, like, what you're dreaming for yourself, what you're dreaming up for your life. And Pisces with the 10th house can definitely signify travel, wanting to travel, or dreaming of faraway places, as in thinking about someone at a distance. You know, you may know someone overseas that you're thinking of, or it could be something totally different where it's about spirituality, because Pisces relates to that. You might be seeking information about deep spiritual knowledge. Indigo can relate to either yourself, and the Indigo kids were Generation X, where, you know, that generation was born into this world with a certain particular mission, just like, you know, Generation Y or the Millennials. You know, there's different groups, you know, baby boomers. There are different spiritual missions, but there's something about those born around Generation X, which are the Indigo kids, as I said. So that would be around the late 70s into the 80s, mid to late 80s. So this is something about the time of that we're in at this time, with what's going on in the world, and knowing that you have some kind of part to play. And, you know, we're all here for a reason. We all have a part to play in this, being incarnated in this world at this time. But being an Indigo, you have a sense of that. You have a sense of some kind of spiritual mission. So this is either talking about you or someone you know. The Hermit is maybe at this time you kind of feel like you're on your own in some way, or you feel like you are kind of left to your own sort of devices in some way, or you feel lonely. But it is, the Hermit card is Virgo energy, so it's a time of self-reflection. It's a time of doing the inner work, purifying the old ego structure of the self, and purifying the self in some way. And it's like you're on a spiritual journey, and you may feel like you're far away from other people in some way. That these two are very much connected, I feel. He's going on his own journey. He's got this lantern and his spirit guide with the unicorn guiding him. And, you know, you might feel like you've been on this journey, or even this week it could feel like you're having to deal with things on your own, or you're having to protect your vibration. That could be another thing, because of the harsh energies, and maybe you want to keep yourself away from a lot of the intensity. I can hear a lot of crows outside right now, like they just started crowing. And crows are very, like, intense omens, I find. Like, it doesn't always have to be negative, but this definitely signifies some transformational type energies. So the Sun in the 10th house, you could be focused on your career, your work, your progress, your personal progress, your reputation. And when I say reputation, it doesn't have to mean just how other people see you. It can be how you see yourself in the world, how far you've come on your journey. So quite spiritual messages here. As I said, some of you may be thinking about someone who's at a distance. There may be a new path opening up for you this week that feels like you have to take a journey that is like the Hermit, doing something on your own. and you know, whether it's seeking truth, seeking a higher knowledge or a deeper spiritual knowledge, definitely that relates to this. So I'll leave it there, but that's the message for the fire signs this week. All right, so let's go to the earth signs now. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, earth signs. What's the energy for this week for earth? This one jumped out, so I'm going to take it. There was too many others, so I'll just take that one. So the Six of Swords is about moving into a time where things are starting to calm down in some way, or you're aware this week that you're actually having to prepare for a move, because this is about moving on from something. And you know, this card always shows someone moving from choppy waters into smoother waters, but sometimes this is a long journey. You know, sometimes this is not a quick thing. And especially if you've got earth in your chart, which this is the earth reading, so sometimes for earth signs things feel more gradual, or things feel like they take time to unfold. Let's see what else you have with this energy. You have view from above. Right, so this is asking you, earth signs, to look at the big picture of things, okay? And you know, it's about perspective. So you might have some fears that you're dealing with that are keeping you stuck in the small picture. This is saying take a step back and look at things from a bigger picture perspective. What is the most important thing for you this week that you need to focus on? What is the most important thing that you need to look out for or look after? It's about having a spiritual perspective of things as well. But I do like this card because it's generally a very positive card. And I mean, you know, it doesn't mean that suddenly everything's going to be perfect. It just means that you are moving forward, and you're moving forward towards something better. And you know, you may not be able to see what that is yet. So we can only see so far on the horizon line, but there may be things that you're not aware of. I'm drawn to the image here of the unicorn looking off into the same direction as the person in the boat is. So there's something about trusting in the journey, and that is always challenging. Crystals, so working with crystals comes up. This one popped out next to it, so I'm going to take that as well. Shield yourself. Shield yourself from negative energy. Shield yourself from fearful thoughts. This is Archangel Michael's energy. So with Archangel Michael, we do, you know, you can call on Archangel Michael to protect yourself against lower vibrational frequencies, which are to do with fear, negative thoughts, that kind of thing. It says protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. So this is a big message for the earth signs this week. You may be drawn to crystals this week or working with crystals. Speaking of such, I'll just show you guys now, because you are the earth signs and most earth signs love crystals. I got this beautiful aragonite from Sassy Crystals on Etsy. The woman who has that shop is so lovely. It's absolutely stunning. I just had to share it then because I was just inspired to. But it's a very soothing crystal, so you may be wanting to work with things that help you with anxiety, like lepidolite. That's a crystal that helps with anxiety. The soft blue stones like blue lace agate is very calming. Selenite, I have selenite here, very soothing as well. You can put it under your pillow at night, helps you to rest. So I feel like the earth signs need some soothing energies, what I'm picking up on. Let's look at the astro dice, but don't forget to call on Archangel Michael to protect you and your journey. This just says the energy of crystals supports you and helps with your present situation. So, you know, with crystals, obviously you have to work with them, that you know, you can't just kind of sit them there and then that's it. No, there's nothing wrong with doing that if you just like them for their beauty and the energy that they just emanate. But, you know, working with them, like wearing protection crystals, wearing bracelets, or even working with them in other ways through meditation. There's a multitude of ways, crystal grids, there's many things you can do. You might, you know, feel like you need to do a crystal grid for protection, and it might just be a small grid. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. It's all about intention and what intention you put into things. Let's look at the astro dice for you guys. Capricorn comes up and Saturn. Oh, the Capricorns might be having a hard time at the moment because the Saturn is your ruling planet, Capricorn, and it's come up next to Capricorn, and I'm doing the earth sign, so very appropriate. Let's see what else comes up. 8th house. Wow, very deep, intense energies for the earth signs and for the Capricorns in particular. The 8th house is a very deep psychological house. It's Scorpio Pluto energy, so you may feel like you're going through a very difficult time, maybe specific to Capricorns, maybe all earth signs in different ways. I wouldn't be surprised, a lot of people are going through difficulty at the moment with, as I said, everything that's so crazy that's going on in the world at the moment. And I won't say anything more about it, but it's very intense times. Well, in the sense of the earthly aspect, but the spiritual aspect, I'll comment on that we are going through a very deep transition at this time. And if you're an earth sign, you might be really feeling that. Why in particular would Capricorns be feeling that the most, and Tauruses, out of all the earth signs? Because Pluto's in Capricorn, and Pluto dredges up your deepest fears. So the Capricorns are going through, you know, not all Capricorns, but a lot of Capricorns are going through a dark night of the soul. Taurus are going through very unpredictable energies with Uranus in Taurus, a lot of disruptive energies, a lot of change on their path, and having to free themselves from old things that have held them back. Virgos, you know, you guys don't have it as heavy, but you do have Neptune influence opposing, so that can make you feel confused about your path or what you're really doing, and you may tend to go with more the easier road if Neptune is afflicting your chart by opposition. But yeah, I'll just touch on those things. It's very eerie that Saturn and Capricorn have come out, because this is to me saying there are some Capricorns really going through it. So I feel for you if you're a Capricorn going through it at the moment. The 8th house is saying, as I said, dark night of the soul, difficulty, issues with finances, taxes, you know, shared money, other people's money, investments, credit cards, anything that you've got to pay off, as in debts. Can be also karmic debts here. So if you are going through a really, really hard time, just know it's part of your soul's journey to learn something, and try not to slip into that sort of, when we get into victim thinking, in that way where we're just in our own head with something like that, like, why am I going through this? Not that it's negative to ask yourself why you're going through this. That can be a powerful self-reflection thing, but try not to let yourself sink into disempowerment. And that's really important at this time. Like, try to take actions to go forward where you can. And, you know, Capricorns are very practical, so they do, you know, look at their reality. But that's the thing sometimes with Saturn ruled signs, is that you can tend to be limited by your thinking, because you're very much looking only at reality and not at the other possibilities that can help you along the way. You don't have to have every detail always worked out to the nth degree before you take action. You can trust that things will come up to meet you. And I've gone through times like that in my life where I've had to make choices that I didn't know how it was going to work out, but I had to trust, and everything does work out. You know, we're guided intuitively that way for a reason. Sometimes we can't always have everything perfectly set up, you know, to cushion us at every single step. And that is a bit of a overcautiousness of the earth signs, especially Taurus and Capricorn. But anyway, I spent a bit longer on the Capricorn and Taurus and Virgos this week, but it seems like you guys needed an extra message. Work with Archangel Michael to protect your energies from lower vibrations. Try to see things from a higher spiritual perspective rather than a fear-based one, and working with crystals, knowing that, you know, you are going towards smoother waters. It might feel slow, but you will get there. Okay, moving on now to the water signs. Okay, so this is for the lovely Cancer. Oh, look at that. 10 of Cups just jumped out. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. That is one of the best emotional cards that you can have in the tarot. The 10 of Cups is emotional fulfillment in a really deep way. So very lovely energy with that. It's, you know, energy of companionship, love, family, connection. Oh, look, and look what just jumped out. I'm just going to take the one off the top, Voyage of the Heart. How very appropriate, because this is all about love and romance, and not just romance in a sort of flirty or lusty way. It's deeper than that. This is like soul connections for the water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. So it says love flows through you and to you. So there might be some lovely things happening in your romantic world this week. There might be some things happening that are quite spiritual with regards to matters of the heart. Pretty nice energy, romantic vibes, relationship energy. Interesting. Cancel, clear, delete. So there might be something that you're moving on from the past, and there's inspiration around you for something new here, water signs. So this is about negativity. Cancel, clear, delete. I like this. I like to say this myself when I have negative thoughts. You know, if you have a negative thought, you just put a cross through it and go cancel, clear, delete, and then you replace that thought with a positive thought and see what you want to happen. It says use only positive words and thoughts as they're rapidly manifesting into form. Ask your angels to cancel the effects of past negative thinking. Yeah, so negative thoughts and negative thinking, I mean, we all suffer from that from time to time, especially Scorpios out of the water signs. Cancerians tend to worry more. Pisces tend to sort of like, can have lots of different thoughts, sometimes not their own, because they're so empathic, they're picking up on other people's energy and thoughts. But if you are getting negative thoughts this week, you can ask for Archangel Michael's help. Do the cancel, clear, delete technique, and then visualize something that you want to happen instead, And that's a way to sort of push away the negative and fear-based thoughts. There's a lot of fear in the world at the moment, so this is something that a lot of people are dealing with. But for the water signs, you guys have this beautiful energy here in relationships and love. So there is something heart-centered happening for you this week, whether it's with family, friends, or, you know, romantic potential. It's very strong here. Let's look at the astro dice. First house, Sagittarius. So you guys have Sagittarius, which is interesting because that's the sign of the eclipse. And Mercury in first house. So you are very focused on your own path in some way, but Mercury coming up here can indicate interesting communications this week that are enhancing to your life. It's first house energy. And Sagittarius with Mercury is like having a lot of ideas, having a lot of mental stimulation. So there could be really interesting communications. Could be with someone at a distance. Could be, because Sagittarius is overseas connections. Could be communications that relate to bigger picture themes, you know, whether it's politics, astrology, psychology, you know, anything that's Sagittarius related, your beliefs, your philosophy, your religion, as I said, spirituality. And the first house is about your identity and your path moving forward. So whoever this person is that you're connecting with, there's something there that could feel quite spiritually deep, and it could influence your path potentially in some way. So that is for the water signs. I'm just going to see if there was anything else. Just one last thing for the water signs, connecting with family this week is what I'm feeling as well. For some of you is going to feel like there's a deeper sense of connection, there's a deeper sense of love, and getting along with people really well this week compared to maybe how things have been in the past. There might be a healing in a relationship or a healing with a loved one or family member. All right, so let's go to the last one, which is for the air signs. Okay, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Ooh, jumping card. We have two, so I'll put both of them. Wow, you guys have the Fool. That's like amazing. New start and 9 of Wands. Okay, so the Fool's a very powerful card. It does signify new beginnings and new starts, taking a risk. But the 9 of Rods says you're feeling a little bit hesitant because you feel like you've been through a lot. And I am getting a very masculine energy with this. So there might be someone that you're dealing with that's like got Aquarius energy or fiery and air energy for the air signs. Let's look at the other cards. Some kind of new beginning energy. It's quite strong with the Fool. This one says you kind of feel a bit beaten around by life, so you're a bit tired as well. Grounding, yes, get grounded this week because there's a lot of energy that you're dealing with air signs. You might be in your head a lot, which, you know, that's typical for air signs, but this is saying, you know, you really need to get grounded this week because you might feel a bit scattered mentally. It could be the solar eclipse energies messing with you a little bit. Let's see what else for the air signs. Clear yourself. Wow, very appropriate. So this is saying do the spiritual work. Don't just be focused on the external of the things that you have to deal with. This week, focus also on yourself, clearing your energy, clearing negative thoughts, negative energies around you, or just a build-up of intensity from certain things that you've been dealing with lately. Grounding yourself is saying you need to get grounded. You may feel scattered this week. I keep getting that scattered energy. Do things like, you know, she's sitting out under a tree. That's very grounding. Obviously, if you feel that it's, you know, you feel very ungrounded, then that's a good thing to do to do a quick sort of stabilizing of your energy field. This one can be like dealing with someone's energy that's harsh, or dealing with someone's energy that's a bit difficult or challenging to you, and that you need to kind of get back to yourself. See how she's alone? She's very at peace here. This is saying you kind of are craving a bit more alone time this week, air signs. So do get some time for yourself. Go out in nature or whatever it is for you. It might not be nature. It might be at home. Aries, third house, and Uranus. Whew, unexpected communications. That might be a bit harsh this week, or it might be a bit like sudden arguments, sudden tension. With third house's siblings, neighbors, friends, relatives. Doesn't mean all those people, but I'm just listing off what the third house relates to. Could be sudden trips that come up unexpectedly, so you might have to suddenly, you know, rush out and because something comes up urgently. With these energies, wouldn't surprise me. Could be unexpectedly hearing from a male friend, sibling, or neighbor, you know, knocks on your door unexpectedly. Could be. I'm just running off the potentials of these. I'm not saying this is what I'm seeing 100%. I'm saying these are the other potentials with these energies, just so you know, with the astrology. So Aries third house is unexpected sudden communications, unexpected sudden arguments, unexpected sudden speech that you feel compelled to express. You might feel a little bit preachy this week with the all the Sagittarius energy and these together. But there is definitely some unexpected communication or unexpected short distance travel for some of you this week as well. So yes, with these, definitely makes sense to keep grounded, because these are very ungrounding energies. These are very sharp, sudden energies. Watch out for rushing around, because these can be more accident prone type energies. And keep your head cool this week. Don't lose your temper, okay? Because I'm seeing that there with those. All right, guys, so that was the reading for the week, and hope that you enjoyed that. Have a good week, everyone. Try to stay positive in this crazy time. It's definitely a challenge at this time to, you know, keep the energy positive. I'm finding that too, because there's a lot of fear in the collective. There's a lot of intensity in the collective with everything going on in the world. As I said, we're going through a big transitional time. Oops. My book just fell down, sorry about that. We're going through, you know, a really big time in the world, and it's really, you can see historically certain patterns that are repeating, and I've talked about this before. I'm just going to mention this at the end of the reading here. I've talked about this on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm at Susan Starlight on Instagram. The links will be below this video. I've talked about how we're in a very deep spiritual time of change, how it relates to previous times in history, and it's just interesting to note that I've talked about this on my other channel, which is just Starlight Oracle, where I talk about it, the astrology, that in this time period that we're in Uranus in Taurus transit, and this happened around the time of the Second World War, when there were certain people in power that really were really drunk on power and did a lot of terrible things, and that was when Uranus was in Taurus, and Uranus is in Taurus again, which only happens once every 80 years, guys. So we're in that very intense energy. We're in also the end of Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto coming up is going to be for 2022 between 25 and 28 degrees of Capricorn. Then 2023 gets to 29. And that last degree of Pluto and Capricorn is major transitions for the whole world. It is collectively a big shift. So, and then after that we go into Pluto in Aquarius. So we're in a time of major change. It's not just something that people are just feeling on a personal level. It's in the collective. It's globally. So I will try to get a video out soon, and ideally obviously before the end of 2021 on my main channel, which is Starlight Oracle. If you're not subscribed to that, I'll put the link below, but that's my astrology channel, and every year I make a video about the energies for the year ahead, so I'll be doing that by the end of December, and I'll talk about it a bit more there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll finish off here. As I said, if you'd like to book a reading, the links are below. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.